Now these are the pieces that we've been waiting on to start the car and give the car a test drive. Now some may be wondering what has changed with these things. Alright, so here you can see the intercooler piping and also the intake. This will be the intake for the turbocharger, and this is the exhaust manifold. Now with the exhaust manifold, what we did was to relocate the wastegate. The wastegate was on this side, and so we relocated it to this side. If you'll see in previous videos and photos of the car, engine bay photos, that we had a bit of clearance issue with the top water hose. Also, it was giving us a clearance issue when we put on the inlet to the inlet pipe to the turbocharger, and we didn't want to have to be routing hot exhaust gases around the intake. Now for the intercooler piping, what we did was to get out a lot of the couplings that we had within the system, and get those welded. So I want to say a huge big up to SS Works. He was the one who came over and took the time out to get all these things done. Now, after having had the pipes worked on, it's advised that you at least give them a wash out, because you never know, because of the grinding and sanding that may have taken place. You want to get out any iron filings that may have gotten inside the pipe. So a quick rinse out can help, so that it can ensure that there is nothing inside the pipes. One other thing I'm going to change today is my oil pan. Here we have the original oil pan that I had on the car, and this is the one that I'm going to put on. Now this is full aluminum, and as you can see, it has some ribs in there, and this is a steel pan. So now, if heaven forbid that I was supposed to hit anything, if it was the aluminum oil pan, it would just break. And with the steel oil pan, at least you have a bit of flex to that. Also, in the near future, we're going to be looking to designing a baffle for this pan, right in this catchment area here. So that's the development that we're going to be doing. So what we have to do now, as you can see here, I had the oil return, and this was the return for the turbo oil pressure regulator. So I'm going to have to put back those in this pan. So we're going to do the lineup for where we're going to drill on this pan, and get it welded. So now we want the oil to flow from the turbo back to the oil sump without there being any kink in the line. So now the sump is off. This is a hose that I had using before, and this is the pipe that went back to the pan. Now I won't be using this fitting anymore. This fitting is designed that you don't do any welding. So because I had an aluminum pan, didn't want to go find anybody with aluminum welding, I just bought this and drilled and fitted it. This time I'm going to, now that I have a steel pan, I'm going to just brass weld it to the pan. So now when doing the lineup, I'm going to now hook up to the turbo. I have a nice smooth vent coming here, and from what I can see here, here are the bolt holes. You have to take into consideration you're bolting up your pan, right? You need to have clearance for your bolt holes, right? And also take into consideration just how low on the pan it might end up. You don't want it low into the pan where all that oil is. From the setup, it's going to end up the pan has a shape that has a shallow area and then a deep area. So in the oil is actually stored in that deep area, and this part acts as just a tray that carries the oil over into that deep area. So based on my lineup for my setup, this is where my oil drain is going to come. I can see here that these are my bolt holes, and the inside edge of the pan would be right here at the block. So from this now I can take my pipe and I can measure just how much I need to cut off of this pipe and fit this in. Just how much I want to cut off this pipe. So right, I'm going to put my mark on this. Always leave a little more than what you need to cut. Give yourself some room. So around about here. Now here you can see earlier I marked where the line was going to basically run, so I know that it's there. So I'm going to need the hose to come right about here, so I'm going to get a marker. Supposed to have a paint pen or something to scribe this area. Alright, so now we're going to install the intercooler pipes. There's something to note that we have two different sizes of pipes. So here we have 2-inch and a 2.5-inch. Now one may wonder why it is that you'd have different size pipes in your intercooler system. So here's a tip. Now when it is that you're turbocharging your vehicle and you're going to pipe that vehicle out, in your setup you try to look for a balance of flow pressure. Now, a rule of thumb that I was taught a long time ago was to basically port match from both ends. So what I did initially was to port match the outlet of the turbo, which is 2 inches, and then to my throttle body I'll have about a 2.5 inch. Now with the smaller piping, you're able to get pressure, so you're able to get to maintain that responsiveness. And then now for so this is what you call the hot side. From the turbo to the intercooler is what they call the hot side. The cool side now is from the other side of the intercooler to your throttle body. So now what you want there is flow, and with that flow you're able to get denser air, because if it is that you have an increase in pressure, there comes an increase in temperature, and if you have higher air temperature, then you're going to have hotter air. Hotter air gives you the air itself isn't as dense. So you're trying, in doing your piping, that's something for you to look out for.